Before we crack open tonight's cursed can of content, I just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers, and an extra sinister shout out to the loyal members of the Sinister Elite. You legends help keep the darkness alive. If you're enjoying the stories and want to take it a step further, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and consider joining the Sinister Elite by clicking that join button below. Members get access to creepy custom emojis and exclusive Sinister Elite badges that level up the longer you survive with us. It's like loyalty, but spookier. All right, lights off, headphones in, and let's summon something we'll all regret. The first thing the Midnight Manor teaches you is how to hold a silver bell without letting it ring. Noise is an invitation, says my trainer, Lenore, a woman who looks embalmed in velvet and good decisions. The second thing she teaches is how to read the laminated card without shaking. It's titled, in filigreed script, Guest Etiquette, Night Clerk Edition. Never enter a guest's room uninvited. Always knock 3 times before sunrise checks. If you see a mirror covered, don't uncover it. Smile. Fangs respond poorly to fear. Lenore tucks the card back into my vest pocket like it's a corsage. You'll feel safer once you learn where the shadows actually are. Where are they? I ask. She glides to the lobby's grand windows and pulls the blackout drapes an inch. The street outside is ordinary. Ride shares, a bakery closing, a woman skating by with headphones glowing blue. The minute Lenore lets go, the drape falls with a hush that sounds final. Outside, she says. The inside is curated. The Midnight Manor isn't modern so much as eternal. Black and bone marble flooring, chandeliers like frozen rainfall, a concierge desk carved with thorns. Everything smells faintly of ironed linens and old coins. The key wall behind the desk is an art installation of brass fangs, every tag hand-penned with a surname and a crescent moon. Midnight Manor accepts only one-night reservations. The reason, as I will discover, is that sunrise is a stubborn rumor here, and morning is a different species of problem. My name is Arlo, I say, practicing my concierge smile. Practice your silence, Lenore says. They prefer the illusion of solitude. At 6:47 p.m., the elevator dings with a sound like a throat being cleared discreetly. Lenore flinches, which I don't expect from a woman who looks sculpted by a cathedral. They're early, she mutters. The doors open. 3 figures step out, tall, pale, well-dressed like ruin. The woman in front wears a dress the exact shade of clotted wine. Her eyes are the color of double exposures. She does not look at me so much as through me. The 2 behind her carry nothing, as if they never learned what luggage was for. Lenore's hand lands on my wrist. Do not offer to take their coats. Why? Because you'll still be holding them at sunrise, she says, and releases me. I ring the silver service bell without ringing it. It's a gesture, not a sound. Welcome to the Midnight Manor, I say. May I have your names? The woman's stare settles. We gave them when we made the reservation. Of course. I only asked to confirm Lenore taught me that line. It keeps the dead from realizing how alive you are. A brass tag shivers on the wall as if a breeze fingered it. Devereaux, Suite 704. I take the key and place it on the leather tray. Elevator is to your right. Gala begins at... Gala? The woman echoes, amused. Her smile shows restraint. We are only passing through. Of course, I say again. The words already becoming a prayer, and watch as they slide across the marble with the gravity of planets. The elevator swallows them gently. I exhale. Lenore doesn't. Good, she says. You didn't ask about luggage, or offer bottled water, or say, enjoy your stay, like a curse. Why would that be a curse? Because it implies change, she says. And they don't enjoy change. At 7:13 p.m., a man staggers in wearing a hoodie, and that look of someone who Googled boutique hotel near downtown and clicked the wrong link. His eyes are red from crying or allergies. He smells like the inside of a train. He slaps a credit card on the counter. One night, he says. Something quiet. Lenore steps back so smoothly it looks choreographed. I check the ledger. Walk-ins are rare. The manor prefers anticipation. Yet the ledger flips a page itself, as if to accommodate the man. A blank line blooms with ink. Guest. Elias Voss. Payment. Prepaid. My stomach drops. He didn't pay. Something else did. Sir, I say, my voice varnished. Do you have a reservation? Do I look like I have a reservation? He snorts. Just any room. I'm going to sleep for 12 hours, Lenore clears her throat delicately. It means, choose your words. We'll get you settled, I say, retrieving a key. It's heavier than it should be. Room 312. The tag smells faintly metallic, the way a penny tastes. Just a reminder, the manor observes quiet hours until sunset. He rubs his face. Whatever. And I slide the laminated card toward him, the sanitized version for guests. It's only 3 lines. House practices. Please refrain from inviting staff into your room. Kindly drape any mirrors if you require privacy. Sunrise checks occur by triple knock. No need to respond. He skims it, smirks. A theme hotel. Cute. He pockets the card and trudges to the elevator. The doors close. Lenore stares at the gap where he used to be. He smells like hospital corridors, she says softly. That kind of grief makes the air thin. Is he safe? For whom? She takes my hand and sets it on the bell. If you hear it ring without your touch, don't look up. Just say, the night clerk regrets the delay, and keep your head bowed. Bowed? They enjoy gratitude. They interpret eye contact as a transaction. At 8:02 p.m., the lobby empties. Even the chandeliers dim politely, as if not to show off. I take my first solo call. The switchboard in the back room is a nest of red cords and brass dials. It hums like a beehive remembering spring. A light labeled 704, the Devereaux suite, pulses. Front desk, I say, channeling velvet. A voice like winter gloves replies. We require a mirror sent up. I glance at the rule card in my vest as if it might glow at requests like this. Of course. We'll have one delivered covered, the voice adds, and the line goes still. When I turn, Lenore is already in the housekeeping closet, retrieving a full-length mirror wrapped in black silk. She props it onto a luggage cart and tucks the silk close like a blanket around a child. Take this to 704, she says. Stop outside the door. Do not step over the threshold. If the cart begins to roll on its own, let it... How do I... Knock. Gently. 3 times. Then back away until the seam of the carpet touches your shoe. If you're invited to enter, decline. They are courteous when they want to study you. I push the cart to the elevator. The mirror wobbles. Or maybe it's me. Suite 704 is down a hallway that seems to grow longer with each breath. The carpet is a red river. The sconces give off a light like deep-sea creatures glow. At the door, I pause. My knuckles meet wood. 1, 2, 3. From inside, a soft chorus of movement like someone shuffling a deck of photographs. The handle turns, but the door doesn't open. Air slips around it, stale and cold, with the faint sweetness of old perfume. A voice says, "Leave it, child." I back the cart away. It doesn't move. Then it does, sliding forward as if a hand inside the mirror is pulling. The silk flutters once. My mouth goes dry. Of course, I whisper to the air, and retreat until the seam of carpet kisses my shoe. The door opens just enough to inhale the cart. I glimpse. No, I don't, because I keep my eyes lower than curiosity. The door closes. A faint click. The hallway breathes normally again. I stand there, counting my pulse until it stops pretending to be a hummingbird. Back at the desk, Lenore is paging through the ledger like a priest reading weather. Well, delivered. They asked for it covered. They always do, she says. They don't like being reminded. Of what? That they used to be visible, she says, and underlines a name with a fingernail. At 9:30 the bell rings itself. Not loud, not eager, just a polite ting, like a spoon touching crystal. It comes from nowhere and everywhere. My body obeys the rule before my brain does. I keep my head bowed. The night clerk regrets the delay, I say, heart going solo. Saxophone. How may we serve? A whisper unfurls above me, as if spoken by a throat on the wrong side of a mirror. We require a wake-up call. At what time? I ask. Sunrise? Says the whisper. Of course, I say, and carefully do not ask which sunrise they mean. I feel it lean over me, curiosity with teeth. Something cold grazes my hairline, approving or calculating. Then the air lifts, the way a theater breathes after the audience stops clapping. The chandeliers brighten a fraction. The bell is still. Lenore appears from nowhere, the way imported fear does. You did well, she says quietly. What would I have done poorly? Answered, she says. They only like to ask. We finish the first hour of my first night in a kind of reverent silence. The key tags on the wall quiver once, like fins under black water. Lenore pours me coffee that tastes as if it remembers dirt. You'll learn to love it, she says, or at least what it does. Another light on the switchboard warms. 312, Elias Voss, the walk-in. I reach for the line. Lenore traps my hand. What did I say about change? He requested quiet. He won't have it, she says softly. He brought a noise with him. The line pulses patiently. I pick up. Front desk, I say. There's breathing. Then a whisper I recognize. Hushed, earnest, afraid of being overheard by his own reflection. Someone's in my bathroom, Elias says. They're humming a song I don't know. The mirror's covered. I didn't cover it. On my vest, the rule card is warm against my heart like a hand. Mr. Voss, I say, as carefully as stepping through a sentence with bones hidden in it. For your safety, please do not invite anyone in. I'll send assistance. Send who? He asks. I look at Lenore. She looks at the staircase, where darkness waits with its mouth closed. The bellhop, I say, and realize we don't have a bellhop. We have something else. Always knock 3 times, Lenore whispers. And whatever answers, don't uncover it. The bellhop appears when you whisper its name. That's not a metaphor. It's what happens. Lenore cups her hand near her lips and murmurs something I can't catch. 3 syllables, maybe a prayer. The air behind the concierge desk folds inward, like a curtain tugged by static. Out of it steps a figure shaped like a man but wearing the wrong decade. Bellhop uniform crisp as wax paper, cap tilted politely, eyes hidden by shadow no chandelier dares to reach. This is Calder, Lenore says. He assists with complaints. The figure inclines its head to me, the bell on the desk answering faintly, as if saluting its captain. Calder's smile isn't visible, but I know it's there because I can feel the temperature change. A drop of 10 degrees, courteous as a handshake. Room 312, I say, reading from the blinking light. The guest reported, humming. Calder finishes for me, voice smooth and slightly echoing, like he's speaking from inside a piano. Yes. The mirror was covered. His chin dips. Understood. He steps away and his shoes make no sound on marble. When he vanishes into the elevator, Lenore exhales like she's been holding her breath since the 1800s. You'll never have to clean up after him, she says. That's reassuring? It should be. At 9:47 p.m., the elevator returns empty. No Calder. No Elias Voss. Just a folded note resting on the floor of the cab. Lenore picks it up with tongs. The paper is damp, gray at the edges. Written in cursive too elegant for this century. Do not assign room 312 again. The guest has checked out. I try not to imagine what checked out means in a hotel where the guests don't check in like living people. Lenore files the note into a drawer labeled Quiet Incidents, locked with a bone-white key. The first time is always unsettling, she says. The trick is learning not to translate. The switchboard hums again. Another light. Room 704, the Devereaux. Lenore gestures for me to answer. Front desk, I say. Send fresh linens. The woman's voice purrs, and a staff member who knows how to keep a secret. My pulse tries to escape my neck. I'll see who's available. Lenore snatches the receiver. Housekeeping will deliver, she says coolly. Within the hour. Then she hangs up. You'll go, she adds. I blink. Me? Your staff. And you do keep secrets because you don't yet know any worth spilling. Housekeeping at the Midnight Manor isn't a department. It's a closet of vintage horrors. A maid's cart stands ready, piled with folded sheets, a sewing kit, a silver crucifix polished to the point of parody, and a bottle labeled linen tonic. The smell reminds me of rain on hot asphalt. Take this, Lenore says, handing me the crucifix. I thought we weren't supposed to, not as a weapon, she says. As a reminder. A reminder of what? That faith and fear taste the same if you're desperate enough. The hallway to 704 is longer tonight. I knock once, twice, 3 times. The door opens a sliver. A woman's pale hand extends, graceful, jointed like sculpture. Leave them, she says. I was told, leave them. The hand withdraws, but something keeps the door ajar. I glance down. A little girl stands in the gap, maybe 8 years old, barefoot, wearing an antique nightdress too big for her. She's holding a doll that looks older than me. Are you my wake-up call? She asks. No, ma'am. Just linens. Good, she says, voice sugar-dipped. The last wake-up call made Mother angry. I set the linens down. She smiles without showing teeth. Would you like to see the view? Rule number 1 throbs in my memory. Never enter a guest's room uninvited. No, thank you, I say. Enjoy your stay. She frowns. But you are invited. The way she says it feels like gravity trying to pull me inside. My fingers tighten around the cart handle. I'm flattered, I say, stepping back. But I don't have clearance. Her eyes, gray, wide, too old, narrow. You're no fun. The door slams. When I get back, Lenore is polishing the silver bell again. She does that when she's nervous. She had a child, I say. Lenore shakes her head. They don't have children. They remember them. So what was that? Memory. Manifested. I look toward the elevator. What happens if I had stepped in? You'd be part of the memory now, she says. And memories here don't fade. They feed. Midnight creeps in. The chandeliers lower themselves an inch, dimming to a heartbeat glow. Outside, rain begins. Fat drops that sound like someone drumming on a coffin lid. The world beyond the blackout drapes becomes a rumor. Lenore leaves to check the archives. That's what she calls the basement. She tells me to keep the front desk manned, to answer calls but never to page a guest after 3 a.m. Why? Because after 3 a.m., she says, the guests aren't the only ones who can answer. At 12:42 a.m., the lobby is silent except for the whisper of rain and my own caffeine-addled thoughts. The bell rings, soft, accidental. I freeze. No one's there. I lower my head. The night clerk regrets the delay. A voice near my shoulder murmurs, "We appreciate the regret." I spin. Nothing. But the scent of perfume, same as the Devereaux suite, lingers in the air, faint as static. The switchboard blinks again. Room 704. I pick up, trembling. Front desk. Did you enjoy the view? The little girl's voice asks. Mother says you looked tempted. My throat tightens. Ma'am, please refrain from... You could still come up, she says sweetly. It's almost sunrise. Click. Lenore doesn't return. The elevator hums to life on its own and stops at the lobby. The doors open. Inside stands the little girl's doll, upright, soaked from rain. It wasn't raining inside. A note is pinned to its chest with a pearl-tipped pin. Rule number 5. Never promise the dead your time. They'll collect it. The card is written in my handwriting. I back away. The chandelier flickers. Something moves behind the reception desk, a long shadow bending where light doesn't. A whisper snakes through the air. "Sunrise, clerk. Don't you owe us a wake-up call?" The bell dings once, then again, and again. 3 knocks from nowhere. The first knock comes from the front desk, the second from the ceiling, the third directly behind me. I don't turn. I remember the rule. Always knock 3 times before sunrise checks. It never said anything about answering. My heart is a malfunctioning drum kit. "The night clerk regrets the delay," I whisper, keeping my voice smooth. "We'll call at sunrise." Silence. Then the faintest chuckle, cold enough to fog my breath. When I dare to glance up, the chandelier has stopped swaying. The doll is gone. In its place, the crucifix Lenore gave me now lies face down on the marble, as if ashamed of its own reflection. At 2:13 a.m., the elevator dings. The display above it flashes random numbers. 4, 9, 7, 0. Then it settles on B basement. Lenore said she was in the archives. That's the basement. I grab the crucifix, because what else do you grab when you're running low on faith, and push the button. The doors close slower than they should, like the elevator's thinking it over. Inside, there's a faint smear of gray handprints on the mirrored wall. They're child-sized. I keep my eyes on the floor. When the doors open, the air smells like candle wax and dusted bones. A single lantern burns near the end of the corridor. The walls down here aren't plaster. They're carved stone, older than the hotel above it. At the far end, Lenore stands at a wooden desk covered in open ledgers. The ink glows faintly red like it's still bleeding. She looks up, startled. "Arlo, what are you doing down here?" "The elevator brought me." She frowns. "It doesn't bring." It answers. I hold out the crucifix. "Something's wrong upstairs." The Devereaux girl, she spoke through the phone. There were knocks. The doll... Her face goes pale. "You heard the wake-up call?" "Yes." "That means they've noticed you." Lenore lights another lantern, her hands shaking just slightly. The walls are lined with dusty nameplates and framed black and white photographs. Every one of them bears the same phrase underneath. Midnight Manor night clerk, year of service. Dozens of faces, none smiling. I stop breathing when I see the most recent one, dated last year. The man in the photo looks familiar. Slicked hair, tired eyes, a half smirk. It's Elias Voss. "The guy from room 312? I whisper. Lenore nods slowly. "He wasn't a guest, Arlo. He was your predecessor." My stomach knots. "You said he checked out." "He did." The guests made sure of it. She closes the ledger with a soft thud that sounds like a coffin lid shutting. They test each new clerk. Some they charm, some they break. They like to see who learns the rules fast enough. And if I don't? "They'll keep you here," she says. Photographed. Remembered. The air flickers. A light goes out above us. Then another. The elevator door opens behind me on its own. Lenore grabs my wrist. "Don't answer any more calls tonight," she says. "And whatever you do, don't try to watch the sunrise from inside the building." "Why not?" Her eyes go glassy. "Because the sun that rises over the manor isn't ours." Back upstairs, the lobby feels different. Bigger somehow. Shadows cling to the ceiling corners like cobwebs that learn to breathe. The chandelier hums faintly, vibrating like a tuning fork. Every key tag on the wall trembles, the names flickering in and out of focus. The switchboard lights up with every single room blinking red. All of them. Every single one. My hands shake. "Lenore?" No answer. The line to the basement is dead. Then the first call comes through. "Room 101. I answer before I can stop myself. Front desk, a whisper. Housekeeping. Click. The next light flashes. Room 202. Front desk. Turn down the sheets, the voice murmurs. It sounds wet. Click. Room 312. My blood goes cold. I don't want to answer, but the bell rings 3 times, forcing me. Front desk, I croak. Do you still have my card? Elias Voss's voice faint, fraying at the edges like bad radio. The laminated one. You have to add a rule. What rule? Don't forget to check out. Click. 3 a.m. The grandfather clock behind the desk chimes. Only once, though it should chime 3 times. The air grows heavy, dense with perfume and mildew. The elevator dings. Its doors open on an impossible sight, sunlight pouring out from inside. I take 1 step closer. No heat, no warmth, just a glow, pale and wrong, like a counterfeit halo. Shadows twist across the floor, long and reaching, like they're trying to crawl back inside. A figure stands in that fake sunlight, Elias. Same clothes, same hollow grin. Morning already? He says softly. You're dead, I whisper. Technically, he says, straightening his tie. But so's everyone who ever worked here. He gestures toward the elevator. You'll want to clock out before the next sunrise. That's when the hotel decides if you stay. What happens if I stay? He smiles wider, showing teeth that aren't as human as I remember. Then you learn to stop regretting the delay. The elevator light flickers red. The fake sunlight fades. He's gone. Behind me, the phone rings again. Room 704. I stare at it. No, I whisper. Not tonight. It rings anyway. Louder, faster. When I finally answer, it's not the girl this time. It's her mother. You've done well, clerk, she says. But there's one last courtesy we require. My voice cracks. What? A wake-up call. For all our guests, the switchboard lights flare at once, every red bulb glowing like blood under glass. The chandelier drops 2 inches with a metallic shriek, and somewhere deep in the hotel, something starts to stir. I grab the bell from the counter. The night clerk regrets the delay, I whisper. But this time, the whisper that answers me doesn't sound amused. It sounds hungry. The chandeliers flicker until the bulbs hum like bees. Every room light on the switchboard burns red hot, pulsing in sync, heartbeat rhythm, but not human. I slam the main breaker behind the desk. It doesn't help. The bulbs stay lit. Electricity isn't what's keeping them alive. Lenore's crucifix burns cold in my pocket. The metal actually frosts over. I grab the ledger, flipping through pages of perfect old-fashioned handwriting. Every guest name, every room number, starts bleeding through the paper, letters dripping like wax. They're all signing in at once. Then the overhead clock stops at 3:33 a.m. The air exhales, and the hotel listens. From the far hallway comes a noise that sounds like applause, slow, polite, and wrong. When the shadows bend just right, I see them, silhouettes of hands clapping against nothing. They multiply along the walls, merging with the wallpaper pattern until I can't tell what's real. I call the elevator, desperate for Lenore, for anyone. The doors open halfway, then freeze. Inside, there's something crouched in the corner, small, wet, trembling. It's the little girl's doll, but now its porcelain face is cracked wide open, revealing something dark behind the glass eyes, something moving. The doll whispers, in that same sugar-sweet voice, "You didn't call us at sunrise, clerk." The guests get restless. I run. Past the grand piano that plays itself, past the portraits of guests who blink when I pass. The corridors twist on themselves like intestines. Each door has an ear pressed against the other side, waiting. Rule number 2 blares in my mind. Always knock 3 times before sunrise checks. But I never thought about what happens after the checks. At the end of the hall stands Lenore, or what looks like her. Her velvet dress glistens wetly in the candlelight. Her face is pale, lips red from something too recent to be wine. "Arlo," she says softly. You shouldn't have answered them all. You told me to follow the rules. I told you to understand them, she says. There's a difference. Behind her, the air ripples. Dark shapes moving in rhythm, like ballroom dancers waltzing through liquid shadow. What do they want? I ask. They're waiting for sunrise, she says. The real one. Then why? She cuts me off, voice low, shaking. Because the manor doesn't face east anymore. She leads me up the grand staircase, her heels clicking like ticking clocks. At the landing, the blackout curtains twitch, then part just enough to show a sliver of sky. I see the sun. Pale, swollen, wrong. It's not rising. It's hanging there, motionless, bleeding faint light over the horizon like a wound that won't heal. They made their own sun, Lenore says, years ago when they decided day was too limiting. My mouth dries out. So the sunrise calls. Keep it from burning out, she finishes. Every morning, a clerk rings the bell, and it starts all over again. And if the clerk doesn't? Her expression doesn't change. Then, the manor feeds on whoever's left. The chandelier creaks. Somewhere below us, the bell rings by itself. Once, twice, 3 times. Lenore grabs my arm. You have to make the call. To who? To all of them. Tell them sunrise is coming, but it's not. Her nails dig into my sleeve. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be spoken. We race back to the desk. The switchboard sizzles, cords writhing like veins. My hands hover over the receiver. Say it exactly, Lenore says, voice trembling. No more. No less. The bell rings again. The chandeliers dip lower, glass teeth ready to fall. I pick up the line. Good morning, Midnight Manor guests, I say, my voice echoing strangely. This is your wake-up call. Sunrise has arrived. The entire hotel inhales. A burst of light floods through the blackout curtains. Not sunlight, but something like it. The portraits smile again, glassy and obedient. The applause stops. Every light on the board turns from red to white. It worked. For 3 seconds. Then the line in my hand hisses. You lied, whispers the Devereaux woman. And we hate liars. The chandeliers explode. Lenore shoves me behind the counter as shards rain down like silver rain. The phone melts in my palm. Smoke curls up the walls in shapes like faces screaming from mirrors. Lenore! I yell. What now? She looks at me, and I swear her eyes reflect the false sunrise like 2 tiny mirrors. Now we survive until the next night, she says. Or we check out. Then she's gone. Just gone. Like she stepped backward into shadow and forgot to come back out. The lobby door creaks open by itself. Rain hisses against the threshold. Outside, for the first time, I see the real sky. Gray, cold, moving. The false sun flickers above it, struggling. Something grabs my shoulder. It's not a hand. It's colder, thinner. A voice right behind my ear breathes. You didn't ring the final bell. I turn slowly. The figure standing there is me, pale, exhausted, with the same name tag, ARLO, night clerk. But his smile is older, hungrier. He tilts his head. You kept us waiting. The chandelier chains rattle. The mirrored walls shimmer like water. He holds up the silver bell. It rings once on its own. Then he whispers, Sunrise. The whole hotel shudders as light explodes through every crack, swallowing walls, halls, me, everything. And when it fades, there's nothing but silence. Just the lobby, clean, empty. A new laminated card sits on the desk. Guest etiquette, night clerk edition. Never enter a guest's room uninvited. Always knock 3 times before sunrise checks. If you see a mirror covered, don't uncover it. Smile. Fangs respond poorly to fear. Never ring the bell twice before dawn. At the bottom, written in unfamiliar handwriting, 6. When you wake, Don't look in the mirror. It won't be you. The elevator dings softly. A new clerk steps out, straightening his tie. Welcome to Midnight Manor, I say. And somewhere behind my smile, something hungry wakes up. When you work the night shift long enough, you stop believing in endings. But the Midnight Manor believes in cycles. That's what I realize when I open my eyes and find myself standing behind the concierge desk again. Same vest, same silver bell, same stale air that smells like candle wax and iron. The difference? There's a new laminated name tag pinned to my chest. ARLO, Senior Night Clerk. I don't remember being promoted. The elevator dings. A woman steps out, pale, graceful, with a voice that sounds like sleep talking. Excuse me, she says. My reservation was for sunrise. Sunrise. The word makes the chandelier shiver. I flip through the ledger even though I already know what I'll see. Her name glows faintly between the lines. Lenore. My throat tightens. I thought you... Checked out? She finishes, smiling faintly. Everyone checks out eventually, Arlo. Some of us just take longer. She walks to the window and draws the curtain an inch. Outside, the sky is a dim blue bruise. They're waking up early tonight. Who? The guests. She turns toward me. And they're hungry. The chandeliers dim to a blood-red glow. Somewhere upstairs, doors open in unison. 1,000 tiny sighs. The switchboard lights begin blinking again, one by one, until every bulb is red. This time, though, one light blinks white. Room 999. There is no room 999. Lenore looks genuinely rattled. That room doesn't exist. Then why's it calling? She glances toward the hallway. Because something new checked in. The elevator opens. Inside, the false sunrise glows again. That same fake light that's kept this place alive for centuries. But something's inside it now. A silhouette moving, slow and deliberate. Lenore steps back. Arlo, don't answer it. It's the wake-up call, I whisper. No, she says. It's the collector. The one who comes when the rules start to break. The figure steps through the light. It's tall, featureless, wrapped in white cloth like a mummy or a priest's vestment. Where its face should be, there's only a mirror. I see myself reflected, but wrong. My reflection's mouth moves first. You rang too many times, it says. I drop the bell. It hits the marble with a chime that echoes forever. The lights flicker, and every reflection in the lobby, every glass, every window, every polished key tag, starts mimicking my reflection instead of me. Hundreds of me's, all smiling the same dead smile. Lenore grabs my hand. You can still check out. There's one way. How? Ring the bell once, not twice, and say the words. What words? Her eyes dart toward the ceiling, where the chandelier chains are quivering like veins under skin. The ones you've been saying all along. The collector tilts its head. Say them, it repeats, and we'll let you leave. I don't think, I just do it. I pick up the bell, close my eyes, and whisper. The night clerk regrets the delay. The bell rings once, soft, apologetic. Then, everything stops. Silence. The false sun flickers out. The red lights vanish from the switchboard. Lenore is gone. So is the collector. Only one thing remains. A single envelope resting on the counter. My name written across it in perfect, ornate script. I open it. Inside is a new card. Not laminated this time, but old parchment, stained and handwritten. Checkout. Procedure. Final notice. Apologize for the delay. Return what you borrowed. Leave before the sun remembers you. Underneath, a key. Brass, heavy, engraved with 999. I take the elevator up, heart pounding in the quiet. There shouldn't be a top floor, but the doors open into a hallway lined with portraits of every night clerk who ever worked here, all of them watching me as I pass. At the end stands a single door. Room 999. I slide the key in. The lock size open. Inside, mirrors. Floor to ceiling. Each one reflecting a different version of me. Older, younger, bloodied, laughing. They all whisper the same phrase. Don't forget to check out. In the center of the room sits a reception desk identical to mine. On it, the silver bell gleams. Perfect, polished, waiting. I walk closer. My reflection follows, but it's not in sync anymore. It moves before I do. I reach out. So does it. We touch the bell together. It rings. Light. Real light this time. Warm, golden, alive. I open my eyes. I'm standing outside. The sun is real again. The manor behind me is just a building now. Windows boarded, vines crawling over the door, the sign rusted half away. Midnight Manor. A faded for sale sign creaks in the wind. I look down. I'm still holding the bell, the crucifix, the laminated card. Everything except the key. For the first time in forever, I feel air that isn't recycled from ghosts. I should walk away. But when I glance at the reflection in a car window beside me, it's still smiling, even though I'm not. 1 week later, a help wanted ad appears online. Now hiring, Midnight Manor position, night clerk hours, 6 p.m. to sunrise, experience preferred, must follow guest etiquette, prepaid training provided, uniform included, and in the photo above the listing, behind the dusty lobby counter, you can almost see me, smiling, waiting, holding the bell.